Special teams in the CFL, where games can change in an instant, especially with the right returner fielding the ball. Today, we're diving into the performances of two very different returners in 2024, Montreal's up-and-coming James Letcher Jr. and Saskatchewan's veteran Mario Alford. Letcher's been lighting it up recently, while Alford, well, he's had a tougher go. Let's break it all down. We'll start with Montreal's James Letcher Jr. And man, is this guy on a roll. In week 17 alone, he had a 100-yard punt return touchdown that left Toronto fans gutted right before halftime. What made it so impressive was that the play didn't look like it was going anywhere at first. He ended up catching the punt from John Haggerty around his own 10-yard line, and it looked like he was boxed in. And then, boom, huge block by Kerfala Exume. Letcher finds the lane, and he ends up outrunning everybody all the way to the house. Now, let's talk numbers. That 100-yard punt return wasn't the only big play of the night. Letcher also had a 33-yard kickoff return where he fielded it at his own 15-yard line and elegantly followed his blockers all the way out to the 45 before being tackled by Toronto. Additionally, he had a 32-yard kickoff return where he fielded it all the way inside his own 10-yard line and ended up bringing it out to the 45 before a Toronto penalty tacked on another 15 yards, setting up Montreal with great field position. On top of all of that, Letcher fielded this punt at his own 8-yard line and ended up turning it into a solid 17-yard gain. In total, for week 17, Letcher returned 5 kickoffs for 111 yards and 3 punts for 119 yards and a touchdown. That's not just good, that's elite. For context, the league average for punt returns is 11.6 yards, and over the last 2 weeks, Letcher has been averaging about 26 yards per return and has had over 40% of his returns go for more than 15 yards. Plus, now he's got 2 return touchdowns on the year, with the other one coming off of a massive 128-yard missed field goal return back in week 15. This guy's really showing that he can be a game changer for Montreal. He's playing on another level this year, he's running all over the field, making guys miss, and having a great time while doing it. You gotta love the confidence that he's showing on the sidelines. He's bringing the energy to the field, and honestly, he's one of the most fun players to watch in the CFL. Now shifting over to Mario Alford with Saskatchewan. Alford's had a rough go of it this year, and in this Week 17 matchup against Ottawa, he only averaged 6 yards per punt return across 5 attempts. That's pretty rough, especially with the CFL average sitting at around 11.6 yards per return. Ottawa's punter Rich Leone really put the ball in spots where Alford couldn't make much happen, and the Red Blacks coverage unit made sure of it. I feel like this return really highlights some of the struggles that he's had. Here, Richie Leone punts it 48 yards, and Alford fields it at his own 18-yard line. The placement is so good that Alford is forced to go out of bounds after gaining just 1 yard. And it wasn't just one bad play, there were a few others like that. Here, Alford fielded Leone's punt around the 55-yard line before almost immediately going out of bounds. He only got 4 yards on this return. And then there was this huge punt that he fielded at his own 8-yard line where he only managed to get about 5 yards before getting tackled out of bounds. And look, the thing is, Alford's had a fumbling problem this season too. He leads all returners in lost fumbles with 2 on punt returns and then a third that he did end up recovering on a kickoff return. Fumbling is a killer for returners. It takes away trust and it can cost your team big time. With all that being said, it's not all bad for Alford. In the same game, he fielded a missed field goal about 8 yards deep in his own end zone, and he took it back 74 yards to set the Riders up for an eventual field goal by Brett Lother. Now that's a highlight for sure, and it shows that he still has that spark when he's given the chance. But overall, this season's been tough for him. He's not hitting those elite numbers that we're used to seeing, and his return game just hasn't been as explosive as Letcher's. So how do these two guys stack up? Letcher's clearly been the more dynamic returner this season, turning nearly every touch into a big gain and capitalizing on the blocking in front of him. He's got the speed, he's got the vision, and he's been delivering highlight reel plays all season long. Alford, on the other hand, has been struggling to find his rhythm. Some of that is on the coverage units he's facing, but his own fumbles and his inability to break free on punts have been holding him back. With that said, Alford's still got potential. We've seen him take it to the house before, and his 74-yard return shows that he's still got the speed and the moves when everything lines up right. But right now, Letcher's the guy making waves, and Alford, well, he's kind of struggling to stay afloat. So there you have it. 2 returners, 2 very different seasons. James Letcher Jr. is making a name for himself as one of the league's top returners, while Mario Alford's working through a tough stretch. What do you think? Is Letcher the future of the CFL return game? Can Alford bounce back from these struggles? Let me know down in the comments below. If you liked this breakdown, don't forget to subscribe for more special teams content, and if you want to help the channel grow, the best thing you can do is drop a comment and watch another one of my videos. It really helps. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.